Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to be making some super cute Easter cards with our extraordinary stamps, dies, and more. So let's get started and let's make some fun cards. The first card we're going to be making is top folding A2 card. This is one of our pre-cut, pre-scored top folding cards. I'm going to set that aside. I have my parts and pieces cut out, ready to go to make this card. So super cute. Let me slide all my little characters to the side. And let's start with the base of our card. First, I cut out of our Evening Clouds cardstocks, beautiful lavender with our scalloped rectangle dies. We're going to glue that down to the card base, and on top of it, I have a yellow on yellow polka dot pattern paper, and I believe it's from our Daisy Days paper pad, which we have a limited number of those left, but it has some lovely papers in it. So I'm going to glue these together and then adhere them to our card front. I love our scalloped rectangle dies used with our stitched rectangle dies. They layer together really nicely, and I love how it's just that tiny little scallop around the rectangle. And the largest one fits nicely on an A2 card with a little white border around it. And what I decided to do with this card is take the egg carton that's in the stamp set, and we're going to use 3 of them. So I've colored and die cut 3 of the egg cartons, and we're going to have to space them on the cards. They have enough room to put all the little colorful eggs inside. In order to get our spacing right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the eggs to the egg cartons first. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the egg cartons and attach 3 little eggs. Just going to have them sticking out like so. That. Let's do the top one. Okay, there we go. We have 2. Now for the middle one, I'm just going to add 2 on the left-hand side because I've got a little chick shaped egg that I'm going to have popping out of this one. So here are our little egg crates. How cute is that? I've got our sentiment. I think I'm going to add some foam tape to pop the sentiment up a little bit. So I get our big roll of foam tape here. Cut a piece off that will work for our sentiment. Now I'm going to go ahead and start to adhere these to the card. I added the bottom, and then we'll add the top. And that way we can get our spacing for the middle. Oops. The 3 layers just do fit in there perfectly. Now, like I mentioned, I colored this little cute little chick egg, and we're gonna have her like popping out of this middle carton here. Just a hair there. And how we're gonna do that, we're gonna take one of our fun wobblers, these little springs. They already have adhesive on them. So we just have to remove the release paper from the adhesive. I go ahead and remove it from both sides. Now, it is adhesive on both sides, but this little rounded part it is very thin. I want my card to stay together, you know, for a long time. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue. To the spring. And then add it to the back of my character. And then again, I'm going to add some glue to the bottom of the spring. This is optional. It is adhesive, so it will stick to your card. I just want it to be extra adhered. You can never have too much adhesive, right? Well, you can, but you know what I mean. And then I'm just gonna put her, oh, so cute. Look at that. If I turn the card, you can see the little bit of dimension there. She'll lay flat to go in your envelope, but she wobbles. Wobbles and shakes on there on that little spring. Too cute. I love that. And now I'm going to add our sentiment, which I just stamped and cut out as a little strip, and I cut a little triangle end on it, like a little flag end, and it says, "To an extra special friend." I'm just going to put that right there in between those two. Oh, this is so cute. I love how this came out. All right. For our next card, we're going to do a little bit of foiling. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my Mink machine on number 3. This is the Pink and Main Mini Mink machine. Perfect for toner foiling. That's what we're doing. I've got some of our Dress Shop pink twine cut and ready. Got the parts and pieces to our card ready to go. So while our ink machine heats up, we can glue our first panels down. I've got one of our pre-cut and scored A2 side folding card bases. Our card bases are nice 110-pound cardstock. So you get a nice sturdy card base. I've cut a piece of this beautiful yellow glitter paper. This is from our spring glitter paper stack, and it comes with different spring colors. This beautiful yellow is part of that. The glitter, it doesn't flake off of our glitter paper, and it cuts and die cuts beautifully. I've cut this nice plaid to fit right on top of there out of our Warm Basics paper pad. So I've cut the glitter paper just slightly smaller than my A2 size card, 1/8 of an inch smaller, and then I've cut my panel, plaid panel to go over it, 1/4 inch smaller than the first panel. I like to use nice strong adhesive, like a liquid adhesive, when I'm gluing anything to a glitter paper, because glitter paper is a little bit textured because of the glitter on it, and so you want something that's going to give you a nice strong hold. Now that we have our card base prepared, we're going to do a little bit of foiling. And this is a little bit different. So on this piece of cardstock, I've cut with our stitched layered egg dies. But before I cut it, I'd taken a piece of cardstock and I'd sprayed the mink foiling spray. Okay, we have that on our website under the Fun Finds category and supplies. And I believe also in the foil accessories. It's a spray, so it's a liquid in a bottle. I forgot to bring it in here to have it ready to show you in the video, but you spray it on any of paper that you want to foil. So I've used our regular cardstock and just spritz and sprayed a little bit, and then you let it dry. So I let it dry, and you kind of see it on there. It gives a little sheen where it's at, and it just gives that distressed sprayed look. So if you want something different for your foiling, this is definitely something fun and different to try. So we're going to put this in our transfer folder, and we're going to put our foil pretty side up on top of it, just like we foil our toner panels. We're going to foil this cardstock that has been sprayed with that mink spray. And then we're going to run it through our ink machine. Okay, I've removed this from the transfer folder. You want it to be cool to the touch. You want everything to be cool before you do the peel and reveal. But here we go. Oh, so cool. Look at that. So of course, now you have a distressed pattern in your foil here that you can foil onto a toner sheet, a solid toner sheet, and use that kind of distressed foil look. It's gorgeous. So I used our Night Sky cardstock, which is a really pretty purple, and then I used our lilac cheer foil. So it's kind of the tone on tone. It's like purple on purple. Really pretty. Just looks like you sprayed foil on there. So fun and so different. I want to take some of our twine and I want to wrap it around the bottom portion of our egg. And I like to stick twine and ribbon to the back of my paper with a little tape runner. It just adheres quickly and it's already dry, so I don't have to wait for liquid glue to dry and hold it in place. So I'm just wrapping this twine around the bottom of our egg. And then I'm going to adhere the egg to our card. I'm just going to put it a little bit of an angle on our card. There we go. This is so cool. This is like those eggs that you dye or color that look all speckled when you add the color to them. So fun. For our characters, I have three little bunnies that are shaped like eggs. So cute. And I'm just going to put them across the card, all the way across the card, with a little egg in between. And I'm going to put the eggs at the back and then pop the bunnies out forward. So let me get some foam tape again. I also want a piece of foam tape for our sentiment. So the sentiment that we're using says, "Hope your Easter is extraordinary." I love that. Again, I just cut it, the little flag end there. So let's get 3 pieces of foam tape for our bunnies. So the first thing I want to do is glue down the eggs that are going to be behind the bunnies. Now we can add our bunnies. Check this out so far. It is so cute. We've got our speckled egg. We have our little eggs in the background, and then our little bunny-shaped eggs in the front. They're so cute. We've got one holding a carrot. We've got one with a little egg tucked in its arm, and then look at this one with a little bow tie. So cute. Now I'm going to add our sentiment. I'm just going to put it up here towards the top. It's kind of going over, kind of pulls everything together. It connects the egg and the card. And then with the twine, I'm going to take 3 more little strands of our dress shop pink twine. I'm going to push it up under the twine that's on the card. We're going to tie a little knot. And before I tie the knot, I like to add a little glue right on the twine that's attached to the card where the knot is going to go, and that'll hold your knot in place. I'm not doing a whole bow or anything. I like to do just little simple knots. It's super easy to tie. Still gives an extra great little texture to your card, adding twine or ribbon. I'm just going to cut the excess off a little so we have just the right amount coming from that knot. And then I take and kind of fray the ends a little bit, push and move them around just so they get extra fluffy and fuzzy. There we go. I love it. I love adding twine and ribbon to my cards. They add just that extra little touch of texture so everything is not just paper. And with that foiled egg in the background, I love it. It's a super cute card. For our next card, we're going to do some foiling, and we're also going to make a little shaker card. We're going to do a mini slimline card. So I've got our mini slimline card here. The way I make my mini slimline cards is I take our slimline pre-cut, pre-scored card bases, and they are 8.5 by 3.5 when folded. So I cut 2.5 inches off to make this 6 inches by 3.5. And then I can use that 2.5 inches that I cut off the end to stamp my characters or sentiments. I will still use that and not throw it away. Let's do our foiling first. So the first thing we'll do is we'll foil our sentiment. This says Easter greetings. I'm just going to kind of lightly dust that off with my finger. And we're going to be foiling the Easter greetings sentiment with our Fairy Wings Silver, beautiful holographic silver foil. Did you know we have about 80 different varieties of foils now? We have all different colors, mixtures of colors and patterns available. Some beautiful foils. We're also going to be using Fairy Wings Silver for our large piece that we're going to foil. And we're going to be doing some negative foiling. And I will tell you what I mean by negative foiling here in just a second. Let's grab our sentiment from the transfer folder. I'm not going to peel that quite yet, going to let it cool. I'm going to take this panel first. It's like a random polka dot pattern. I'm going to dust it off with our foil dusting brush just to make sure there's no dust or pet hair debris in between the foil and our foilable. I don't remember where this pattern is from. It's from one of our foilable sheets, but it's like a random polka dot. We have dozens and hundreds of foilable sheets and patterns available. going to make sure on the back that it's fully covered, and then we're going to run it through our ink machine. While that's running through, I'm going to take our solid toner sheet. So we have a great variety of solid toner sheets, and that's what you need to use to foil your negative foil pattern. I'm going to go ahead and dust it off with our foil dusting brush. I saw a piece of dust or something right there, so we want to get that off. But you need a solid toner printed sheet to foil the negative of your foil pattern, okay? And what that means is this is just a solid toner print. It can't be regular cardstock. It has to be a toner printed design to use the negative foil. And used to, you just had black. You always had to have a black background for all your foil negatives. But we give you lots of color variety, and this is a unique one. This is from our Color Art toner sheets, our foilable sheets. It's, like I said, it's solid toner print, but we've got this fun color, kind of watercolor effect in the background. So we're going to get some different color varieties. And I'm going to show you now exactly what I mean by foiling that negative. So we can go ahead and do our peel and reveal on this piece. Okay. And we're not actually going to use this piece in our design. I'm going to save this for later, and I can make another card with that. But what we've done by foiling that is we now have a polka dot pattern on our foil. So this is what I call the negative foil piece, because you have the negative of the design in the foil. So we're going to lay that over our solid toner sheet. This time we're using the Color Art, as I mentioned, and we're going to run it through the ink machine. When I'm doing the negative patterns, I like to turn it over to the back so I can make sure that everything is covered just like I want it. I don't like all this hanging out from the folder when I run it through my ink machine, but I don't have my longer folder right here on my table. So I'm going to cut the foil. The paper will be fine. It's sturdier, so it's going to go through the machine and come out. But I don't want this little extra foil to roll up or get caught in my machine. So I'm just going to trim that a bit. And now we can run it through. While that's running through, let's peel and reveal our sentiment. Okay, here we have our gorgeous Easter greetings. How pretty that is. And of course we have the Easter greetings as a negative in the foil that we can use on another project. All right, so we've done our negative foiling. We're letting this be cool to the touch before we do the peel and reveal. But look, you can already tell how fun this is going to look. Let's do it. Now we've used this entire piece of foil, okay? We haven't wasted any of our foil. And look at this fun piece. So we have all that color in the background, and we have the beautiful fairy wing silver dots all over it. So it's like a beautifully colored and decorated Easter egg. So now we're ready to make our shaker card. So I have one of our mini slimline shaker covers. So it's going to fit perfectly on our 6 by 3.5 inch mini slimline card. I'm going to use our pick up and place tool, the pokey side, and we got to remove the protective coating off of our shaker cover. So I'm just going to kind of poke and prod at the corner of the shaker cover until I get that plastic, thin plastic coating to start peeling up. See, there it goes. So I peel that off and I can throw that coating piece away. It just helps to have something sharp to get that coating peeling up. Then I take my shaker cover, and that coating is there to keep it, see how it's nice and shiny and clean? It just keeps your shaker cover free from scratches and smudges. It keeps it nice and clean until you're ready to use it. So I like to pre-fold my flaps of my shaker cover towards the back, towards the adhesive side, just so they're easy to fold and adhere when we're ready. Then I fold them back out. I'm going to move my card base. So we're going to take our shaker cover and we're going to place it face down on the table. Then we're ready to add our layering piece that's going to fit inside. So we cut that slightly smaller than the shaker cover size, and the measurements for that are on the packaging of the shaker covers. I tell you exactly what size to cut the panel that goes inside the shaker cover, because you need a little bit of room to make the folds on the sides. Once you have it centered properly, you want to get it right in the center so everything's straight and will fold nice and straight and be flat. I'm going to hold everything flat to the table. I'm going to peel one release paper away from the adhesive. And while I'm holding it flat to the table, I'm going to fold this flap over and press it down into the paper. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it around to the other side. I'm still holding this paper flat because if you don't, it'll have a tendency to bubble or pop up, and you want to keep it as flat as possible. So with my left hand, I'm holding it down to the table flat, and then I peel the release paper off of the other side, and then press that flap down onto the paper. I'm going to turn it one more time, still holding it flat to the table. I'm going to release the third piece and fold it down and press. Don't jump ahead and do that fourth one though. We want our pocket to add our shaker pieces to. So now we have three sides adhered and we have like a little envelope or pocket. I am using our diamond confetti sequins. They're just beautiful, look like diamonds. It's the best way to describe them. And I'm just going to pour them into my little shaker pouch. You can pour as much or as little as you like. Get a few on the table, it's okay. I've used that packet before, so it wasn't a full package. You can get 3 or 4 or even more shaker cards out of our packages of confetti sequins, just depending on how much you add into your shaker pocket. So now I'm ready to flip this back over, hold it flat down to the table again, pull the release paper from the fourth flap, and then adhere it down to our paper. And that's going to create our shaker pocket. How fun is that? We've got those beautiful fairy wing silver dots foiled to that colorful background, and then the diamond sequins, they just coordinate really well with those polka dots. So everything looks great. I'm going to go ahead and decorate my shaker cover, and then I'll add it to our card. So I have cut with our scalloped border dies, just a nice large scallop piece. The dies are 6 inches long, so they're perfect for making a mini slimline card, or you can cut them down for a smaller card as well. When I adhere things to the shaker covers, I just like to use good old simple double-sided tape or adhesive tape runners, like I'm doing here. They just adhere quickly, they stay on really well, and I don't have to wait for my liquid adhesive to dry. You can use the liquid adhesive on the shaker covers. It just takes a while to dry on that non-porous surface. So there we go. Now we have our pink border. I cut a little strip of our Riverwalk turquoise just to add to the top of that as a little border. Okay, and now we have our cute little border there. I've got one of our egg cartons from the Extraordinary set. And I've got 3 little chick-shaped eggs to put with it. Grab the right thing here. I'm going to put the smaller one in the middle. It's kind of just got his wings on the inside. And then we've got this cutie with the little flower on her hair. And then we have this adorable guy with his little glasses. There we go. And they just all look like they're popping out of that little egg crate. Now all we have left to do is add our Easter greeting sentiment, our foiled sentiment. This can be found in our Easter foilables cut-ups. They're sentiments and images and icons all ready for spring and Easter, and they're pre-cut for you. So all you have to do is foil them and add them to your card. Super easy. And with that foiled sentiment, it just picks up the beautiful foiled background. Gonna add it right up here. At the top of our shaker card. So fun. Love it. Last thing we need to do is to add our shaker cover to our card base. And to do that, I recommend using a nice strong adhesive. So you can use liquid adhesive if you've got the time to set something heavy on it and let it dry. It's going to take a bit to dry and adhere. That will be fine. You can also use like a nice strong double-sided adhesive tape like our Easy Tear tape. I call it Easy Tear tape because it does easily tear with your hands, but it is a super strong adhesive tape. And this is a fairly new roll of it, and look how much tape is on this roll. We give you a ton of tape on our rolls. Another thing I love about our Easy Tear tape is how easily the release paper just peels away from that tape. Nice, super, and easy. If you ever have any problem, I press the end of the tape down into my paper, and then get the edge of that release paper up. It just comes right up. We're going to add this to our card front. I like to hold them and match them up on the table so they're nice, both nice and flat against the table. And then bring them together, and we've got our fun little shaker card with those adorable little chick eggs. So cute. Are you ready to make our final card? I've been having so much fun playing around with the Extraordinary Stamps and Dies. Let's make one more card. I had to do a card for each kind of egg. So we used the regular eggs, we've used the bunny eggs, we've used the chick eggs, and it even has eggs that are like little kitty cats. How stinking cute are those? Oh my goodness. So for this card, I just took from our Stitch Rectangle Set 2, I cut an Evening Clouds, which is our lavender cardstock, and I ran it through with our grid embossing folder. So you see that nice little, just kind of crisscross grid that goes through there. It gives a nice little texture. You can use the embossed or debossed side, whichever you prefer for the card. And I'm going to glue that down to the card base. On this yellow and yellow polka dot piece of paper, again, this is from that Daisy Days paper pad I was telling you about earlier. I cut one of our stitched arches, but the wide arches. So they're a little wider across than they are tall. So it goes nicely on the card when you're using it in horizontal. You could also use it vertically. It does fit right across the card like so, but we're going to use it today in the horizontal position. And before I adhere that to my card base, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon, just some turquoise ribbon that I had in my stash. I put a little bit of adhesive on the ends of the ribbon on the back. I lay it across my paper where I want it, and then I just fold the back pieces towards the back of the paper to adhere it. That leaves it nice and loose in the front. It's not glued down, so that I can tie a little knot to it. So let's go ahead and adhere this to our card base now. And then I'm just going to put this right in the center of our card. These little wide arches give a nice little home for your little characters and critters. So again, I've got the little egg crate, and then we have our little kitty shaped eggs. I also have a regular egg here that we'll add. And I used the sentiment, just cut it out in a little rectangular strip that says, "You are spectacular." Isn't that cute? I'll show it a little closer in a moment. So let's adhere down our egg carton. I want that just sitting right there on top of the ribbon. I think again for my little eggs, I'm gonna pop them up with some of our foam tape. Just adds that little bit of dimension. Our foam tape is only 1/16 of an inch thick, so you could layer it up to get 1/8 of an inch if you wanted it a little thicker. But I like the thinness because if you're gonna mail your card, it's still nice and thin enough to go through the mail. It's also 3/8 of an inch wide, so slightly narrower than 1/2 inch. So it fits nicely on sentiment strips and things like that. I like that I can cut it with my scissors even into thinner strips like that. I can make it thinner. My sentiment is a little thinner than the foam tape, so I can make a thinner strip to add to our sentiment. All right, now I've got foam tape on all of our little egg characters. It's time to decide where we'd like to put them. I think the regular egg I'm just going to have off to the side somewhere. I might even put it right on the ribbon. Let's adhere these little kitty eggs down. One thing to think about, and it's not necessary, but I kind of like how it looks, is I have two warm colors. I have a dark pink and an orange, which are warm colors. And then I have a cool colored egg, but I just have one. So I really like the way it looks when you separate your warm colors and you have your cool color in between. Instead of having like two warm colors together over here and your cool color over here, it makes it very warm, like heavy on the warm side, if you want to say. Not necessarily, but just a little thing to be pleasing to the eye. I like the way that looks, is separate my warm colors. I did that earlier with the bunny eggs as well. All right, so we've got our cute little sitting kitty on the outside. The one on the right's kind of like waving hello. And then the one in the center is holding an egg and has cutest little glasses on. All right. I'm going to put the sentiment right above them. You are spectacular right there above them. I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot with my ribbon. I'm going to tie it off to the right side here. So I'm going to slide the ribbon underneath. I'm going to put a dot of glue where I'm going to tie the knot. That way my knot stays right there. Again, I just tie a simple knot. When I'm folding the one side of the ribbon under, I just twist it upwards so that my polka dots stay to the top of the ribbon. So you always have polka dots to the top. And then I just pull the knot tight, and then I press it down into that adhesive a bit. And then all we have to do is cut the ends. Again, I love the texture that a little ribbon or twine adds to my cards. Just one of my favorite things. We still have an extra egg, but I'm not sure that it's needed on the card or even a good place for it. I've got, you know, your eye likes odd numbers, so I've got nice 3 eggs going across. I think I'll save this egg for another time. And here is our final card. So cute. How do you like these little egg characters from the Extraordinary set? I think they are so sweet. So thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these cute cards we made with the Extraordinary stamps and dies and more. You can find these products at pinkandmain.com or ask your local retailer. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.